What is going on, everybody? Good evening and welcome to the Occult Rejects, another episode of Rustic Gods. We are your host. It is I, the Mississippi Mystic himself, host of the Gray Pill podcast, Jules, and I am joined by the Feral Pagan, the Hellenic Schizo Poster, host of Headless's Mailbag, Alchemy Mondays, and many other things, Headless Giant. Everybody.
Thank you.
Podcast. What's going on, brother? You have a good New Year? Have a good solstice and
good calends.
Relax.
Good calends. That's what they called it in Rome. They called this the calends, and that they depicted it by having Janus as the god of the calends. So January 1st is the Janus day. So
January
with the mailbag today. That was my symbol of the week. So. Yeah, Janus.
And I hate I missed that. You know, guys, I posted I was going to do 2 shows with Headless. I didn't see the EST behind 7:30. So, you know, missed that one. But I'll make one. I'll make one day, I swear. Anyway, but yeah, no, man, I had a good time. Went to a couple parties. Well, didn't really do anything Christmas Day at the house, and had some family over, but it was, my kids got a bunch of shit. It was fun. I got everything that I needed, new boots for work, cologne, a cool Viking war horn, some other stuff, this cool Mothman hat from my nephew. Sick. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And fell on the ground. But yeah, no, I had, daughter got a Barbie dream house. Son got a damn stereo system for his room and a bunch of other stuff. He got a electric bike this year for his birthday. So he's been getting a bunch of good gifts this year. My daughter, her birthday is Christmas Eve. So, that's a busy time for me, back to back. And you gotta make it special to where she knows that her birthday is not just part of this holiday, right?
Right. Not a lot of ways you could say that though, because always the presents end up getting combined.
Well, absolutely. Well, that's we got her the Barbie dream house, and then shouts out my brother-in-law, got her a pink Ford Bronco. Headlights on it, a Bluetooth radio in it, dude. I mean, and then she got a tumbling mat and rail and stuff. And my son got like $150 cologne. He has a girlfriend, so he's trying to impress her.
Wow.
Yeah, they went on a date. First date the other day.
First date.
Yeah, man.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's cute. It's cute. It's funny to look at and be like, wow, dude. That's my kid.
Growing up so quick,
Yeah, I don't like it. Howard, what's up, man? Guys, it's good to see y'all. Happy New Year. And good evening. This is Rustic Gods. If you haven't seen the show before, me and Headless come together to discuss the rustic Greek gods. And so
we're kind of going away, I think, a little bit tonight. Because normally we're talking about what was worshipped out in the fields, right? Now we're talking about what's going on in the cities. So this is really the linkage between, the rustic, the really, really old, the really ancient, versus the more modern, the more metropolitan, but also very ancient, They came through a lot of the other stuff. So we'll see that again with Demeter tonight. There's so many syncretisms with Demeter that go way, way back into history. That is, very important to understand all of the formation of, the plants and how that relates to the different seasons. If we can start here. So Haloa, actually, if we want to start on Haloa, maybe.
Haloa. Okay. Do you have something else you want to bring up for that, or just talk about it?
Just get on the Wikipedia, I think.
Okay. So here, I got you faded. Don't worry. Just keep talking.
Yeah. So Haloa is the Greek festival for the wintertime, right? And so this is the Attic festival principally celebrated in Eleusis. Eleusis is very important. This is Demeter's holiday at Eleusis, right? So if you're talking about holy festivals for the Greeks, this would be the one that everybody would be interested in. This is the mother of what's her name? The one that's underground. What's her name?
Persephone.
Persephone. Thank you so much. Yeah, Persephone and Hades, and she cursed the world when her daughter was kidnapped, but then brought every blooming thing back afterwards.
Nice.
So this is kind of her cycle goes along with the cycle of winter, right? So let's see here. Haloa or Haloa was an Attic festival principally celebrated at Eleusis in honor of Demeter, protector of the fruits of the earth.
When this is Attic, does that mean Attis? Like, does that have anything to do with Attis?
Is a type of Greek dialect.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Cool.
So Attic and also Attis would probably go along with that same thing. Attis worship was present in Greece, as well as Kybele worship is.
Right. Right. Okay.
So let's see. The god of the seashore, Poseidon, and yes, Dionysus, the god of the grape, Poseidon, the god of the seashore. So we've got Demeter, Dionysus, Poseidon. That would be the holy trinity for their winter festival. So the god of the seashore and vegetation. In Greek, the word halos, which Haloa derives from, means threshing floor or garden. While the general consensus is that it was a festival related to threshing, the process of loosening the edible part of the cereal grain after harvest, some scholars disagree that it was instead a gardening festival. Haloa focuses mainly on the first fruits of the harvest, partly as grateful acknowledgement for the benefits of the husband received, partly as prayer in the next harvest would be plentiful. The festival was also called Thalicia or Syncomestria. That's interesting. Haloa took place every year during the month Poseidon, which is right around this festival. It's from the 15th of December to the 15th of January, roughly. And so this festival would take place right smack dab in the middle of Poseidon, the month, and that would be right around this time. We're talking about the Christmas festival. This is their midwinter festival. So the festival took place around the threshing floor at the same time throughout Attica. All women were expected to attend the event, but men were almost always excluded. Men had a legal and moral expectation to pay for their wives' expenses during these festivals. The strange timing of the harvest festival, midwinter, is significant as well. The Greeks regarded the festival as sacred not only to Demeter, but also to Dionysus. With the inclusion of Dionysus in the festival worship, the date shifted towards winter as he possessed himself of the festivals of Demeter and took over the threshing floor, compelled the anomaly of a winter threshing festival, right? So there is an anomaly here. They call this the third harvest, right? And so they're focusing on the first harvest, which is the time that the sun is rising, right? So they're talking about when the sun is rising as the sun is dying. And so they're having this solar
in between.
Right.
That. Okay.
Right. So the date shifted towards winter. In many ways, the festival was just as connected, if not more so, with Dionysus than Demeter. Thus, we see the power and influence of the coming god and the importance of wine to the Greek cult activity. Practically, Greeks were able to coax out a harvest just early enough to revel with Dionysus, right? So that's also the dying and rising god being celebrated at midwinter.
Right. Yeah.
If you guys are keeping track, the guy who can transform water into wine, he's being celebrated at midwinter. It's strange.
Yeah. And someone was talking about the story of Persephone. Yeah. That's her going into the underworld and learning, how to come back up and restore spring. Right. She's going into the womb of the mysteries, or, into the cave, so to say. It also, there's many different allegories for it and metaphors, I think.
Right.
You see the story in every culture. You see it at Sumeria as Erishkigal. Is it Erishkigal and Nergal?
That would be during
Or
the
is it
spring.
Ishtar? Or it may be Ishtar.
Yeah,
I don't
during the
know.
spring, Ereshkigal and Nergal, and that was
Yeah.
the time for war. And so that's what Nergal represents, is the urge to go out there and just start murdering.
Well, the first episode me and you ever did together, first Swapcast, whatever, over a year ago, we talked about Erishkigal, the similarities between her and Tanit, and how it's the same entity.
Right.
Yeah. Fascinating. But anyway.
Despite being among the most documented of Greek festivals, very few records exist of what actually occurred during Haloa, because it was predominantly, if not exclusively, a woman's festival. Little information has survived or recorded at all about its characteristics and ritual. In fact, one of the most detailing sources of Haloa consists of marginal notes from the 13th century AD on the Roman writer Lucian's works. According to those notes, the women's ritual practices involve pits, snakes, pigs, and models of genitalia, all of which have a more or less marked sexual significance. So we got to go back up here to
snake pits.
Yeah.
Throwing bitches in snake pits. There we go. This was on the thumbnail, guys. So you see the phallus. It's a uncircumcised phallus.
Yep.
It's back before the Jays took control of the market, right?
Yeah.
So
there you go. So this is part of the fertility of the earth. So as they are blessing these phalluses, again, this is a sex cult. I mean, everything that involves the creation of the universe from sexual acts is considered a sex cult.
Right.
So a lot of
fertility cult.
Right. It's a fertility cult. So they say, since the universe comes through this act of procreation, also fertility and the way to harvest will come through this magic of fertility, right? So the fertility magic was part of this community involvement.
Well, you were talking about how I think it may have been before the show, Demeter was, she was kind of like the female Green Man. The Green Man is the masculine force in nature that is spreading his seed and seeding nature, right?
Right. And we're also talking about the death of the sun and the return of the sun. So if you're thinking about, sort of like fertilizing the earth so that the sun can return, that's a pretty, generous task, I think. But that's also what you're talking about with the dying and rising of Dionysus, right? During that same time period. Again, the sun being the reverence point,
Yeah.
All about the light. This is a festival of light. All of them are. All of the midwinter festivals are festivals of light in the darkness. You're trying to bring back the light. So
trying to bring truth out of ignorance.
Yeah, in some ways, but it's basically just the physical light, though. I mean, if you think about all of these different midwinter festivals all across the world, they're always lighting things on fire, and they're producing light of their own to sort of bring back light to the world, because this is the longest night of the year.
Right.
So I think there's something very, very ancient. I think people keep asking, well, what is it about Christmas that's pagan? Well, it goes back so far before anything happens. You could almost say that the midwinter festival is genetic, right? Every culture around the world has their own midwinter festival. So like even the question of, is Christmas pagan, it's kind of missing the mark entirely, which is, how come every culture on the world has a festival of light during midwinter? Right?
That was celebrated hundreds, if not thousands of years before the existence of Christianity.
Right.
And this is a problem with, you see a lot of copes online with people trying to say that, the egg came before the chicken. And like I told you, that the only way that could happen if it's the primordial egg, right? The Orphic egg, or whatever. But other than that, chickens lay eggs, so not the other way around. Well, and then a chicken is born, but not every time. Sometimes you eat the egg. But anyway, just
sometimes the chickens eat the egg.
So yeah, there's that's all you've seen online really this holiday season, is people arguing about that, and it's I don't really see an argument, to be honest with you.
Right.
It's kind of common sense. It's unless you believe the Earth is 2,000 years old, or 3, whatever. Yeah, okay, even 6. Yeah, all right. I mean, I could go even further.
It's these common themes that seem to really attract how people, divide up their own lives, right? So the Midwinter Festival is a time for everybody to, relax and settle in and get close with their family. It's not a time for working. It's the same everywhere, right? Because it's a similar climate and it's a similar spiritual presence during the winter time. Like, there is a certain type of spiritual presence that takes place during this time period. And unless you're in the spirit of the season, you're going to miss it. Right. So
is this the genius loci?
I think so.
The spirit of the season.
Exactly. Like, you look at all the most successful winter stories about the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future. That's very pagan, right? You're talking about, very potent symbols of magic and memory,
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. There was something, I don't know. It was some guy. He was on, who he was talking to, trying to say that Snow White was basically a Christian story. And I was like, wait, no. Okay. Go back. And I'm about to start reading the Germanic sagas also, so I have a lot to learn. But when you go, Snow White is the alchemist, right? She's working with these gnomes, right? These earth elementals, and they're bringing these gems up from under the earth, right? But she's also teaching these gnomes how to be more refined themselves, right? They're learning how to bathe, they're learning how to dress properly, they're learning how to, and then she dies and is reborn. There's all that, but it's just the way he explained it. It's like, dude, the actual, it's a lot of Rosicrucian themes, because Disney was in the Demolay Lodge, right? And so it's like, dude, it's which a lot of Rosicrucian themes, go back into older mystery schools, right? So the chicken or the egg, whatever. But it's like, dude, this is way more ancient than religion itself. Not only that, but the ancient occulted interpretation of the story is beautiful. Why would you, try to even change it? Right. Just to fit a narrative. I don't know. I don't like it.
Well, that you'll find that a lot too. I mean, what they'll do is they'll try and change the meaning of something so that now it changes people's focus away from that thing and towards something that they want. That's a common thing with all antinomianism, is they flip around the meaning of something that is popularly known to try and steer society in a direction that they kind of want it to go. And so antinomians, for instance, antinomians would do the reverse of all of this stuff in Haloa if they were trying to curse it, right? And so ritualistically, Haloa was similar to Thesmophoria, another festival to honor Demeter in the significance of women's participation. Both festivals involved lusty words and activities, an abundance of sexual symbols, and the consumption of much wine and pornographic confectionery. So they were eating big old dick cakes.
Wait. Hold on. And you mean that quite literally, like the cakes were just huge
pornographic confectionery. Yes, sir. Dick
Would,
cakes.
would you have eaten one of these? Well, I guess it was for the ladies.
The Women's Festival.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The women
People will say there's
celebrated.
probably a lot of game in there, but remember, guys, if you look at actual history in ancient Greece, they had very, very strict penalties against being gay.
Yes. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They treated them like shit. So,
Yeah.
all this stuff about
Outcast.
right. It's a mixed bag because it's just a democracy, kind of like what we live in today. It's like, how can you blame the Greeks? Look around you, dummy. So, anyways, but they might have perfect. Okay, let me see. Consumption of much wine and pornographic confectionery. The women celebrated alone so that they might have perfect freedom of speech. And some sources state that the sacred symbols of both sexes were handled. The priestesses secretly whispered into the ears of women present the words that might be uttered aloud, and the women themselves uttered all manner of unseemly quips and jests. You know why? They did not have freedom of speech in the town. Women were treated kind of like property. So this was their big vacation away from the expectations of society. So Demosthenes highlights the role of priestesses, pointing out that she, rather than the Hierophant, chief priest at the Eleusinian mysteries, presented the fruit offerings and conducted the initiation ceremonies under the presidency of women. He also emphasizes that it was unlawful to offer any blood sacrifice, using as an example the story of the Hierophant, who was cursed because he offered in the court of Eleusis burnt sacrifices of an animal victim. So all of the sacrifices were grain.
Okay.
Right? So this is the common theme of.
So that debunks the whole human sacrifice on the. Yeah.
That's not what they're doing here, obviously.
Right.
But again, this is all centered around the fields, right? Because women, their fertility is connected to the field's fertility. And getting them all horned up for midwinter sounds like a pretty good time, actually, because they're going to come home and they're going to want to get it on with you.
That's okay. A good thing.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
Because they were trying to promote the
people had so many kids.
Right.
Because of all these fertility festivals. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we need to have fertility festivals again. Let women I don't know, eat penis cakes. But see, they're doing it now, and they're making it, it's disgusting, right? They're bastardizing all of that kind of stuff, right. to where the original meaning of it, to where it may have been fun, and now it's just kind of looked at as just degenerate and gross. And
well, this is women only. Remember, like what they're trying to do is they're trying to get them separate from the men, get them all horned up, and then release them back onto these unsuspecting men. Right? That's the expectation, at least.
Hey, Lucy. What's up, Nephilim Hunter? What's up, guys? Like the stream, okay? Don't be a pussy. And Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year indeed. So I'm telling you, if you want to have a Happy New Year, we got to go back to the Haloa Festival.
Okay.
Get them all horned up and then set them loose on the unsuspecting public.
Dude, I mean, especially if you're in a more secluded community, right? Somewhere where someone can't be taken advantage of or anything, because that's what people obviously would worry about.
Does this sound like sorority house type activities?
Somewhat, yeah.
Big time. Well, where's the idea of the sorority and all the rest of that come from?
Letters and all that, dude. I mean, dude, we have to do a whole episode on that. I'm very interested in how that migrated over to, colleges in the United States. Because I know, it's like we're the rebranding of Rome, right? Edom or whatever, and but as far as Greece goes, I know we probably have a lot of customs that we carry down from Greece that we don't even recognize, right? Because we're told that it comes, this is a Judeo-Christian custom, or this is a American, these are American values. And it's like, well, these values came from somewhere, I get it in a sense if you're arguing for politics in America or something, I get that. But when we're talking about this kind of stuff,
Can you really say that these Greek fraternities have had any more problems than any other sort of college organization on campus?
I don't know. I can't say, dude. I dated a few
fraternal,
sorority chicks.
If it is fraternal, I'm all for people having their own groups that help them out, but we can't, put
I
them
never liked the parties, man. We'd always fight the frat guys. I had like friends that were frat boys as well. It's just not like, they may have went to a different college or something, but
plus it's all a big joke to them.
Okay, I guess. I don't know.
They're not looking at it with the piety that the Greeks looked at their own religion,
Yeah. Wolf bitch has gone wild. Exactly, Luce.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see. we want to bring the wolf bitch's story to life. Make subliminal messenger story a reality.
Well, Thessaly's the place to do it, dude.
Yeah, it
Thessaly is the place if you're gonna have wolf bitches.
We're gonna have to capture dog women. So don't know how well that's gonna work out, but maybe they'll come willingly. All
Perhaps.
Right. No one clipped that.
So Demeter was the Olympian goddess of agriculture, grain, and bread who sustained mankind with the earth's rich bounty. She presided over the foremost of the mystery cults, which would be the Eleusinian Mystery School, which promised its initiates the path to a blessed afterlife in the realm of Elysium. Demeter was depicted as a mature woman, often wearing a crown and bearing sheaves of wheat or cornucopia. That's where we get the cornucopia. So you guys don't really associate Thanksgiving with paganism, but there you go. The cornucopia is a religious symbol of the Greeks.
I mean, wasn't that one of the ways that they would have to get ancient people or these people in the past who converted to who ended up converting to Christianity? That was how they got them to follow these traditions, right? Because they adopted a lot of them from their traditions, their European traditions. Excuse me.
Look at the Mary and Christmas. Mary and Christmas, yeah. They did a lot of that stuff. Some of the more famous myths featuring the goddess include the abduction of her daughter Persephone by Hades and the great dearth she brought upon the earth. The nursing dearth, yeah. So she caused all the plants to die.
Sorry.
I'm
retarded sometimes, guys.
I just can't see you right now. I'm looking at the page and not over.
I'm just
the nursing of Demophon, the young son of King Celsus of Elyssus. The journey of Triptolemos, a hero sent by the goddess to instruct mankind in agriculture. One of the early ones, too. Her assault by Poseidon, who forcefully coupled with her in the form of a horse. Who's that queen that had a ongoing relationship with a horse? Catherine the Great.
Catherine. Which
yes.
Catherine?
Catherine the Great. Wasn't she involved with the horse?
Which queen? Like which of France?
Russia. No, she was Russia.
Russia.
I believe so. And there was a rumor that she was going
about Catherine de Medici or Catherine de Sforza. The Sforza family, one of the black nobility families, has this lady in it in their bloodline named Catherine de Sforza, and she was a famous alchemist. Yeah. Worth a deep dive, maybe.
Horses.
And Sforza meant the bloodline of the snake, I think, having something to do with that.
Well, the story is that Catherine the Great died while having sex with a horse. It's a persistent but completely false myth, meaning it probably happened, originating from a political enemies to discredit her. Oh, so it was the early life check on that? Catherine genuinely loved horses and was a skilled horsewoman. So obviously they had to say that she was doing it with them. But she actually died from a stroke while on the toilet. What I would take that horse rumor. over.
She went out like Gigi from The Sopranos, dude.
Right.
Fucking went out like Elvis. Elvis didn't die on the toilet, guys. He's still there.
Yeah, he's still around. But yeah, so it was not a horse that did it. Sorry, guys. I know a lot of you had a lot invested in that story, like me.
Wait. So does that just mean that she had like something as big as a horse's thing, like up? Like, did someone like murder her?
No, it was just, the rumor was that she died while banging a horse in the stables because she was a very promiscuous woman, right? That was part of the smear campaign, is that she would do anything, including horses.
Yeah. Oh, Fire Pixie said, yeah, of Russia. Okay. It's crazy Rus.
Right. Look out for those horse girls. I don't know. I love watching horse girl Instagram. That stuff is hilarious.
Wait, are you talking about the girls that like gallop around like horses and they're kind of like?
That's too weird. No, I'm just talking about the girls who are obsessed with horses, and then they grow up into women who are obsessed with horses, and so they have to have a horse somehow in their life.
It's like their spirit animal or something, dude.
Right.
It's like you could say it's like they're familiar, right?
They fall in love with it as a little girl, and that's all they think about is riding horses.
Well, I love horses. I think they're great. There's something about them, I'm pretty sure, something along the lines of what a cat does for you. They heal you spiritually. They take negative energy away. And, I'm sure Beans is your
all we need is a horse, and then we're good. Like, we just need to put me between the horse and the cat, and I will be healed fully.
Yeah, man. Give me a horse, dude. I'll ride it.
Indeed.
My audience takes that differently. Guys watching on the Occult Rejects YouTube, don't go to my Rumble. You don't want to see that chat. It's not bad right now. I don't know where everyone is. I think Assbutt's doing his piano show tonight. He may have started already, but I had Cult of Conspiracy on, and it just got, oh my God. I was like, dude, this is wild. It's funny because I told Jacob, I was like, hey man, I know the last time you came on, my audience were doing all this stuff in the chat. They were throwing words out there and slurs and stuff. And I was like, it won't happen this time, I swear. And lo and behold, dude, they just start going crazy. I'm just like, what the fuck is it? It made me laugh at the time though. So I was like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? But then I'm like, this is my audience. I love my audience. A bunch of schizo. Anyway, sorry. Didn't mean to go off on that tangent. No, I think maybe I was talking to myself right there. Anyway. Well, back to Demeter and the Haloa Festival.
Right. Well, I'm looking up the Calends Festival right now in Rome.
Oh, cool.
So the Calends was when they celebrated the New Year.
I had read something on that when I was researching for this.
Right.
When I was reading up on it. Yeah.
So again, this goes into what we're talking about here today. So this is also kind of this midwinter kind of festival, right? That is centered around Janus and the reemergence of light, right? So Saturnalia would be around the 25th or the 23rd, usually with the solstice, and then Calends would be around the 1st. So the Roman festival of the Calends, especially the January Calends in Saturnalia, heavily influenced early Christianity with customs like gift giving, feasting, decorating homes with greenery, and merrymaking being absorbed into Christian holidays like Christmas, New Year's, to ease conversion. The church strategically placed Christ's birth on September 25th to coincide with and offer a Christian alternative to the Roman winter solstice festivals like Sol Invictus and Saturnalia, symbolizing Jesus as the light of the world. Now, this is all just AI slop, right? So you're going to have to look that up for yourself.
Well, that's where one of the main arguments is, right?
It's pretty much
think about,
this is a fact, right? So we've got about 95 to 95 or 6% of the, professional world of people who talk about this stuff agreeing that, yeah, it does come from paganism. And it never really should have been debated because we could see, how much they took from Sol Invictus. Even Tertullian said that the different festivals, like the Mithras festival, is a vicious plagiarism of Christianity. But we actually know he was reversing that order. It was an accusation, right? He was accusing while admitting that he's the one who actually took a lot of the stuff from the Mithras cult and put it into Christianity.
Mithras existed back with Zoroaster, dude. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, Tertullian is saying that they copied him, right?
Dude, that predated most, and people will argue with me on this, but did that predate like the Hebrew religion, like the whole
pretty much
the whole Torah being written, right?
There was a lot of developments that took part in the shaping of the Torah that happened in Iran and Persia before it ever migrated over to the people who wrote the Septuagint. So yes, there was a lot of influence coming from that direction. So Saturnalia and Calends, these popular Roman festivals featured feasting, gift exchanging, general revelry, and decorating homes with greenery. Now, again, like during the Midwinter festival for the Greeks, they loved that wine. That's what they were trying to do. They were getting the first fruits, which means the first harvest of the year was already turning into wine by the time that their Haloa Midwinter festival was taking place. Sol Invictus, December 25th, was also linked to the unconquered sun, a Roman solar deity, solar sun of God, right? He's got 12 disciples. Anyways, further making the winter solstice. Christian adaptation, strategic timing. The early church, particularly in the 4th century under Emperor Constantine, set Christmas on December 25th to replace pagan celebrations, making the transition to Christianity smoother. Why did it need to be smoother in the time of Constantine? They kind of had a whole plan, didn't they? Symbolic replacement. Replacing Jesus's birth as the light of the world on the winter solstice date symbolically countered the pagan worship of the sun. So they wanted to kind of make it impossible for you to do your religion, and instead you had to do their religion. So it wasn't really all that free, right? Tradition and absorption. Practices like feast, gift-giving, and festive lights from Saturnalia and the Calends were integrated into Christmas and New Year celebrations. Actually, the early church fathers said, we want nothing to do with this because gift-giving and these trees are all found in the book as satanic and evil.
Right.
Those are pagan practices.
Yeah, well, we talked on my episode earlier today, the Drots received their, messages from the gods under the oak tree, right?
Right.
And then, you
Jews
go back.
Jews don't celebrate birthdays. So why would we be celebrating the birth of Christ unless there were a whole bunch of people who celebrate birthdays?
Yeah. Well, it's so.
That's what pagans did. That's not what Christians did. They didn't celebrate birthdays.
Right. And then, and then you have spring, right? Which, not by natural law should be considered the beginning of the year,
Right.
And so, I don't know. I've heard people theorize Christ's birthday to be in, September. It was September 11th. That's why they did the twin tie. Yeah. You heard that? And then, April 1st, April Fool's Day, being in the spring. That would make the most sense to me. If you had to go there,
Well, picking July 20 or December 25th solidifies the connection between Jesus and the Son in a way that nothing else in the book can do.
Right.
So not only were they taking over that holiday, but they were also placing him at that central focus for all of society. This is the light of the world. This festival is this, ancient ancestral memory festival going back thousands of years. Now is the Jesus festival.
Well, yeah, and then they'll say that the Druids adopted their initiations from Jesus.
Right.
What? The Druids spent 3 days in the tomb and then were resurrected or reborn, right? Out of darkness, as Christ had said to have been. So, it's the same with most of these mystery schools, right? The Dark Night of the Soul.
Which should bring up why they keep talking about the mystery in the New Testament.
And you talk about Mithras, going into caves, right? And coming back out 3 days later, reborn. And so, like, dude, yeah, it's but that should make it even more spiritual for people. You know what I mean? Like that esoteric definition of it, but they fear it and they say, no, that's a bunch of new age guard. It's like, no, nothing new about it. You know what I mean? I mean, we were talking earlier about the whole Wiccan thing and how you have people that create their own religions and cults out of this ancient knowledge, right? And that's what's pushed in the mainstream. That's what, these crazy, Wotan cults that go and, with the whole, what was it? The Delphi murders and stuff.
Yes, sir.
It's like these people taking these ancient symbols and all this stuff and they run with it, but this has been happening for hundreds of years.
Right. Well, what's interesting,
you could say thousands.
What's interesting about the Delphi murders is that they were drawing heavily from the tarot, right? The tarot depiction of the hangman doesn't have anything to do with Odin in the Havamal or any of these other source texts. So it's like somebody's actually integrating it with a lot of new age stuff.
Well, does it go like, is it older than Odin?
No, specifically, it's the person who's committing these murders is trying to integrate a lot of the stuff. They shape the body in the form of the hanged man, which is not accurate to Odinism. Right? It's accurate to the tarot card, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the actual practices of Odinism, as well as not having, there's nothing in Odinism about sacrificing 2 girls, obviously, right? But what I'm saying is that they're sort of being directed by people who are syncretists, right? They don't care anything about the source material. They just want to make it kind of shocking, right? They don't actually have any kind of a purpose or goal in mind other than to freak out the normies, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how this happen.
Odin did hang himself on Yggdrasil, and that which is the ash tree, and it's very right there with the oak tree. Right.
Look at the positioning. None of that stuff has the positioning that they do in the hanged man card. So it's just assumed that there's
I don't know too much about tarot, to be honest with you, dude. My wife does. I don't know why we haven't brought her on an Occult Reject show yet. We have to soon. But Arrows, calm down. We see you.
It's really calm. Okay.
How easy would it be? I mean,
well, again,
Jared Leto did it, right?
All of these different elements have to be repeated in some form or fashion to get the motif of a cult, right? Yeah. So this is what we're talking about when it comes to these mysteries. Mysteries represent a cult, right? Anytime you hear the word, these are the mysteries, what you need to think about is the Eleusinian mysteries, which was a cult. So all of these practices were part of a much bigger, broad body of meditation, physical training, ritual purification, all of these things that went into cult initiations, right? So when they're talking about the mysteries and they're creating this mystery cult, it is a creation, and people back then kind of understood that. It was all of the practices distilled into one thing that you can now bring home to you. Anybody in the world, it's not, it has no ethnic boundaries, right? Anybody can be saved by these new mysteries.
Yeah, and I've had people say, well, the 3 days in the tomb isn't literal. Like, yeah, okay, it could be interpreted literal, but I know it I don't interpret it. I interpret it, 3 days, and you go, to the underworld, and you transgress through the underworld, and come back up, and you relay what you encountered to the rest of your initiates, right? And
right. It's an intensely, it basically simulates death and rebirth to lay for 3 days in a coffin unmoving, and people are said to have spiritual experiences, but they still do that with the Freemasons. When you get up around the 30th degree, they start actually putting you in the ground.
Dude, I've talked about this a couple times. I don't really like talking about it, but I'm pretty open about it. But back when I was, like a decade ago, when I was doing drugs and stuff, going through withdrawal, I mean, I was in a literal cave one time. I remember I was having this outer body experience, just in a cave with, I guess it was a demon. It was something dark. You know what I mean? And it took hours before I could, in my mind, escape from this cave. It was crazy. It's hard to explain. Maybe some people who have been through the same thing know what I'm talking about. Just, getting off that shit is like shaking a demon. Specifically opiates or fentanyl, but that it's one way to interpret it, right? But
I'll say, but they've got these sites. These all people around the
put
world.
themselves through these. Back in the day, they were putting themselves through these kind of initiations, right?
So
to gain knowledge.
Initiation, particularly in older esoteric branches, sometimes use caves for cave-like structures to symbolically represent rebirth, purification, and descent into the underworld, echoing the ancient mystery traditions like those of the Druids or the Eleusinian mysteries. How come the Druids have so much in common with the Eleusinian mysteries? Isn't it weird? And why do they dress like Greeks? So bizarre. Why is that happening? Anyways, with these rituals often involving blindfold or descent or ascent through darkness to emerge into light, symbolizing the spiritual transformation, death to the old self, rebirth into a new enlightened state, with some historical lodges even holding actual ceremonies in caves. Symbolic meaning, right? And they go into all of that. So there's a lot of mysteries, right? A lot of mysteries that you're seeing with the cults. Right. But that's what you're looking at is the mysteries and the cults, Mithraism. It's all about the cave. Come on, guys. It's not that hard to figure out. It's the mysteries.
Yeah. And what I was talking about with all that. Yeah. And then you come out the other side and you've learned something or you've gained some type of strength or experience. And in my case, dude, I mean, I don't get sick. I'll get, if I eat something bad, I may get sick, or like, I don't know, once or twice in the past like decade, my kid has gotten sick and gotten me and my wife sick, but that rarely happens. But ever since, being off of opiates, it's hard for me. It's hard to make me sick. I've just been so like deathly sick to where it's like, I can handle it. I can handle being, nauseous or whatever. This or that. Well, if I'm at work and the heat gets to me, or I can deal with it.
That heat down there is no joke.
Yeah, dude, it gets bad. It gets like 120 degrees here in Mississippi. So I'm not a pussy.
100% humidity, 120 degrees.
I've had friends have heat strokes, dude. Like it's fucking terrible. No, it doesn't matter how tough you think you are, guys. The Mississippi sun will take your soul. But so yeah, I don't know, man. This is interesting because I've never heard of this festival, like, ever. Is there any movies or anything that kind of give a interpretation of it, or
no, sir? Again, like
we have
this was all for women. It's all for women, so they didn't really write it all down. So basically all the women just retreated onto the forest or wherever and just started eating penis cakes.
Which, I mean, I think we can be honest, midsummer happened because those people came to these people's ancestral home, and they were like freaking out, talking about like, I don't know. I think
Well, Midsummer was directed by a Jewish man who was trying to.
That's why A24 is so cursed, I guess. If you look into it, dude, those A24 films, and you have like 42 Backwards, The Dark Mother, and all that stuff, and so that makes sense. I mean, dude, The Witch was a good movie. I like that movie. It was creepy. I like stuff that scares me. I don't know. I'm weird.
I can't believe she missed it. Yes. So Haloa, I have to reiterate, Haloa, you have to eat pornographic cakes. So that's what they were talking about.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we have the penis cakes.
Right. And if you haven't had your penis cake this midwinter, you're missing out. You've had your gingerbread houses, but you haven't had your penis cake.
What about a vagina cake?
You can do vagina cake too. They were not exclusive. They said it was both genders. They just had to be in the shape of the genitals. This is how you get your.
You would have to make like a clitoris. No.
You need the mold, right? You just slap it in the mold. You put it in the oven. Bloop, there you go. Vagina cake.
I'd have to talk to my wife, but I'm sure we can make something happen. I don't know.
You gotta ritually separate.
I got kids in the house, man. I can't.
You gotta ritually
One of them finds that,
and then she has to go to the backyard.
How do you explain that though? Like, how do you explain having a penis cake or a vagina cake?
You just got to do this at night, right? You just make sure that she's out of the house when she's eating it. Bachelorette party. There you go. That's another awesome way to do it. This is the year for bachelorette party.
Take notes, guys.
Right. This is all good stuff. This is
you heard of the penis straw? There's penis cakes. You seen the penis straws, dude?
I've not.
Dude, I remember I was like a kid and my mom would go to raves, like trance drum and bass raves and like cornfields and shit back when that stuff was cool. And she'd come back and have like penis straws and like all this crazy stuff. And I'm just like, in my room, stoned with my friends, just like, oh, cool. I'll take one of those. Yeah, it was funny. Anyway, y'all are getting Jules story time, guys. Sorry, I don't mean to do that. But I do that sometimes. So
it's part of the show.
It's part of the show.
You know, I mean, if we could bring back a little of this tradition, maybe we can become as smart as the Greeks were. That's all I'm saying. Penis cakes for bigger brains. More children, bigger brains.
No pun intended.
Right.
Or maybe all pun intended.
Well, another thing is the Greeks actually depicted men with diminished penises to indicate that they had bigger brains, right? So they believed that you had two brains, right? One that was down here and one that was up here. I think we went over this on the episode about Priapus.
Priapus.
Yeah.
And fashionist.
So, if you've got a small wiener, that means you've got a giant brain, according to the Greek cosmology. So who knows?
Sorry. Oh, man.
I know one thing for sure. The guys with big old schlongs walking around, they got an easy life. So why would they need to challenge themselves? Why would they have to have a bigger brain?
I don't know, man.
That's why I'm such an idiot.
I was going to say, speak for yourself pretty fucking, I can't even read a book. You ask my wife, please. I don't know. No, don't ask my wife. You get her drunk enough, she'll probably come on here and let everybody know. We're not going to do that.
Oh no!
People have asked.
So
we're not doing that, guys. We're not going there.
I ordered a whole bunch of this jackass's books. So this is
you sent me a picture. I was like,
Michael Aquino, right? So he's got a going along with Mind War. So everybody talks about the Mind War, but it was actually 3 books. And so he's got 3 of these things. And so
Doc likes your shirt.
Yeah, I've also got the Temple of Set. This is the 2nd edition, volume 2. I don't know what happened in the first volume, but I'm going to read through everything Michael Aquino, and I will report back.
Yeah, get back, dude. I went on my buddy Jose Gallison. Well, you know Jose. I went on his podcast. We did deep dive on the Temple of Set, and there were some FBI files that were released on it, and I'd kind of taken it with a grain of salt, but when you read them, it's like, oh wow, like this, it gets into like the theology behind it, and like where it, like, how Anton LaVey just wasn't going hard enough, and so Aquino, they did a I guess an invocation ritual, and he tried to contact just the something that embodied nothing but darkness, right? And they got set. Yeah. Oh, I know why you're reading. I know why you're reading about Set. I know why you're reading about Set. Okay. Hold on. We got a button for that. I think we got a button for that. Where the fuck? Lay on. StreamYard soundboard. We tried to raise money in the past for one, but it ended up going to other things, a mic and a desk and a bookshelf and all the other things that you see behind me. This is an Occult Rejects podcast, though. Don't let me make it a grateful podcast. Y'all can donate to the Occult Rejects as well. Pretty sure there's Buy Me a Coffee.
Yeah, we hardly ever promote that. But if you go on the Occult Research Institute, I believe that the links would be on there.
We need to get a Patreon going.
Yeah, something.
Get some people. Yeah. I'll talk to Nick about it. I just think it'd be a good idea.
I'm going to make a big push for this spring to be the spring of going out to these mounds, right? Not just us, but our followers too. Like everybody go out and visit a mound before springtime gets here, something like that. Take pictures, put them out there, I mean, look, people would go on pilgrimages all the time back in the old world. They would go on pilgrimages to their family shrines. They would go on pilgrimages to ancient shrines. But you're going out to the mounds. So take some pictures of it. It'll be amazing. Share them with us. We'll, share our pictures with you. So it'll be a good time, I think.
Hell yeah, dude.
Bring back the pilgrimage.
What's up, Doc? It's good to see you, man. Gave you a shout out on the episode today. Yeah. Good seeing you. I'd look forward to when you drop that episode, bro. Let me know so I can drop it on my end. Getting, I get too anxious about stuff like that. Wait, go back to that other comment.
He said Jordan Maxwell and Michael Aquino. I don't think so.
I don't think so, unless he's
a clone.
Unless Aquino was putting on like a fat suit. No disrespect to Daddy Maxwell, but unless he was putting on a suit and like a bald cap and put makeup on. I don't know. Mind Wars, right?
Right. Mind War right here.
Oh my God, JC, don't leave.
If you want to listen, I can give you the first introductory thing. So this is you guys should hear this and think about the two ways of achieving peace. One is where everybody stops fighting. Two is where you brainwash everybody into stopping fighting.
All right.
Right? That's the kind of bad peace you don't want. So he goes, this is a Dwight D. Eisenhower quote. He goes, every gun that is made, every warship launched, every rocket fired signifies in the final sense a theft from those who hunger and are not fed, those who are cold and are not clothed. This world in arms is not spending money alone. It is spending the sweat of its labors through the genius of its scientists, the hopes of its children. This is not a way of life at all in any true sense. Under the cloud of threatening war, it is humanity dangling from a cross of iron. And that's the first quote in Mind War book. It is humanity dangling on a cross of iron. So he's going to get deep into that kind of symbolism in here, I think. He's going to go there. But basically, he's saying that we can use people's culture against them to get them to stop fighting us. That's his sort of premise.
Yeah.
It's
very Kabbalistic in nature.
Yeah.
You know,
Very much.
necessary evil and whatnot. You know,
Again, from his perspective, yes, it would all be a necessary evil. But, again, this guy is the architect of the satanic panic, where he's using your culture against you to get you to do what he wants.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he was not just a Satanist, he was also a colonel and a PhD. So if he's in direct, negotiations with the government on how to propagandize the public, how would you do that? Well, they wanted a satanic panic to sort of shovel all the conservatives into this sort of, sort of mind-controlled state that brings about people like George Bush.
Yeah.
He was a product of that as well. It was kind of a conservative hysteria.
Now you got cult, surrounding Trump, right?
You got Q, right? Q conspiracy, and you got Candace coming in a little bit QE right now.
Dude, I talked about it on my show today. I called it over a month ago, dude. I was like, why is she starting to talk about Crowley and all this stuff? But she's not, she's giving these like explanations for it. That's just like, that's not the whole thing. You know what I mean? And it's just like, why is she obfuscating some of this stuff and running cover? You know what I mean?
Know. She's just going by what she's heard. She has
I don't know, man. I think she's trying to make other people who put out, legit or try to, right, put out legit information, make them look.
I think this is revenge, to be honest. I think she's trying to have revenge on the Republican Party for them not giving a shit about Charlie Kirk, which I think is fully commendable. I think that's
I don't know what it is, but I do think she's somehow,
she's grabbing headlines every single day to make sure that Charlie Kirk's death doesn't get swept under the rug, because that's what they want more than anything. That's why she's doing it. I don't think she cares about the information. She knows she's not going to solve anything. I mean, what the hell can she do, even if she does?
I mean, is there some Manchurian candidate who's going to be,
could be
triggered by things she says and go, you know what I mean? Like, you got to think about, there's a lot of avenues that this could go down.
Lots of different avenues. But all I'm saying is that kind of stuff is pioneered by guys like Michael Aquino. And that is at the root of what satanic panic was and what it evolved into, and how you use crisis actors. And I think a lot of this other stuff really does start to come into question, is because they're trying to engineer our brains. They're trying to make
it goes back to Candace's dad doing the fire alarms and security for Mandy Mook, right? And how did Alex Jones not know this, right? Well, I mean, I don't think he talked about this back when he was exposing the No. So it's like, okay, dude.
I heard every episode back then.
I think that itself was all theater. I don't think he paid a fucking dollar. It's just my opinion, but yeah. We're not going to say the word, but y'all know what I'm talking about, obviously.
Well, all I know is that there's a lot more to Set than I think a lot of people have realized.
Yeah, we talked about this recently, and there's an article. There's an article that I was reading. I could bring up if you want me to.
Sure.
And I was reading it with my wife, and it's just very it's interesting to say the least. So let's here we go. So it's how Yahweh became a donkey-headed Egyptian demon called Set. Yeah. And it gets into, the adversary of Upper Egypt, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the Alexandremos graffito, correct?
Yeah.
So what's interesting about the Bible is that Adam and Eve had more sons than just Cain and Abel. They also had a third son named Seth. And Seth is Greek for Set.
Right.
The Egyptian devil. So the Egyptian devil and the line of Seth is the same thing, right? That's why they gave Jesus a donkey head, is because they believe he's coming through this line of Set, right? So it says
Wow.
Alexandros worships this god, and so they're making fun of Jesus because he comes through the line of Setian.
But doesn't he ride in on a donkey though? I mean,
Yeah, it comes
no,
in on a donkey, and Moses comes in on a donkey, and Balaam has a talking donkey, and all of these donkey symbols all throughout the Bible sort of start adding up, and you're like, why is there so many donkeys at these significant portions of the year? They even do a donkey sacrifice or a donkey ritual in Israel to this day. Actually, it's a very central part of their belief systems. Is this
what's
donkey?
it called?
I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, let's look that up, dude, because this is stuff. I mean, this is stuff we got to question, guys. You know, storm gods, right? You look into the Canaanite pantheon, yeah, the storm god, brother of Baal. Baal being, just meaning Lord, coming from Bel or Belu.
Did you have more in this article? I've got.
Yeah. Hold on, we can scan through it for a second. I didn't want to read it just because it's so much. But yeah, it just talks about like why the head of the ass, and then right here, look at this. It's Mars riding a donkey from the 5 planets from the Ling Dynasty. That interesting.
Mars riding a donkey. That's actually really Setian.
Mars being a god of war, right?
There you go. Set being the god of foreigners. You can't have foreigners without them riding in on donkeys from
right. And then it gets into the demiurge, and then it gets into my theory. And then this is I was talking to Subliminal and Rat, and I had sent them this, and we were talking about it.
Aren't the donkeys bringing in foreigners today?
Huh?
Aren't the donkeys bringing in foreigners today?
You could say.
Yeah.
They're dumbasses. But they're set with Nephthys. Yeah. I mean, some people have equated it to an anteater, but yeah.
Set as god of the foreigners.
But the Exodus story, that's the thing right there. It's like the only adversary to the Egyptian gods was Set. Right?
And the lamb was a common symbol of Osiris to the Egyptians. So by them chopping up the lambs and then painting their doorposts with the blood of it, they're saying, we did this to your God. We chopped them up.
The fish were venerated from Osiris. When he was thrown in the river, 3 different fish had eaten him, supposedly, and you weren't supposed to eat those 3 fish. 3 fish. You know what I mean? Right. With the sign, you know what I mean. The same sign for Christ, and all that stuff. And you see another water motif. Right? Been talking about that lately as well. Water coming from Enki or Ea, the god of water, the first one. You know what I mean? The first water daddy, I guess you could say. But this story, it says, in other words, the Exodus story and thus Jewish identity itself cast the Egyptians in a decidedly dark and malevolent light. The story not only brands them as sorcerers and murderers, but it also frames their pantheon of gods as powerless before the might of a lone foreign desert god, Yahweh. The Exodus story also subjugates their divine pharaoh to the role of a mere pawn, destined for a watery grave, an end that was deemed ignominious with Egyptian religious thought. Who else met a watery grave? Well, Tammuz, but also Osiris, right? Yeah. So this was mocking Osiris. This was Set mocking Osiris. Just a theory.
Well, you do have cultures that venerated Set. They venerated Set specifically because he was the Egyptian devil, and that was the Hyksos people. The Hyksos took in Set as their god because he was hated by the Egyptians. So this was a common antinomian practice.
Right. For the ancient Egyptians, drowning was not merely a death. It was a calamitous fate, making it an anathema. What is an anathema? Do you know what that is?
Anathema?
Anathema. There I go. My small brain. An anathema to their understanding of a dignified transition to the afterlife. Oh, dude. So what? It was like it would disrupt their transition to the afterlife? That's fucked up. It's like taking a Viking's axe away from them and not letting them go to Valhalla, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, they did that a lot, especially with the lamb ritual sacrifices. That was to make fun of Osiris as well. So spreading. So you know how all of the
and if you've watched my show, you know Osiris is the father of the mysteries, right?
Right. So if you look at the Gnostics, they all believed that God the Father was evil. Why would they believe that? Well, it's because they came through Alexandria, and they were kind of this Alexandrian cult about, more Socratic influenced, but they kind of they were about the idea of getting rid of these archons, right? And they believed that Yahweh was the ultimate archon and that Jesus was sent to save us from that archon. Well, they're using Egyptian cosmology to say that. And they also called the prayers of the early Christians as being, or the Jews as well, as being like the braying of a donkey. Yah-oh. So they sort of heard the sound of a donkey in the way that they were pronouncing the name of God.
Wow, dude. Makes sense.
So Hyksos, Asiatic rulers of Egypt from 1650 to 1550 BCE, adopted the Egyptian god Set. Again, they have in parentheses. Can you see it?
Where? Yeah. I took. Are you reading what I had up, or is this what you had up?
No, this is what I got up.
Okay, I got it.
Can you read that in there? It says Set in parentheses Seth, like the third son of Adam and Eve, the god of the desert, storms, and foreigners as their patron, equating him with their own storm god Baal. Baal is also one of the inspirations for Yahweh. Right? And elevating his worship significantly in Lower Egypt, especially from their capital, Avaris. This foreign associated led Egyptians to view Set as a malevolent force, linking him to chaos and the desert, contrasting with the traditional Osiris myth where Set murdered Osiris, a narrative later emphasized after the Hyksos expulsion. And where did they go? They went right up to modern day Israel. Key aspects of the Hyksos worship of Set, patronage and identity. The Hyksos saw Set as a powerful deity similar to their own storm god, making him their chief god. Location: Set worship became prominent in the Nile Delta, particularly in Avaris at the Hyksos capital. Associated with foreign lands, Set's existing association with deserts and foreign lands made him a fitting choice for the foreign Hyksos rulers. Political and religious fusion. The Hyksos elevated Set, linking his worship to their kingship and introducing foreign rituals which changed Egyptian religious politics. The Set animal. The Hyksos adopted Set's distinctive Set animal, a creature with a forked tail and a long snout, for their iconography, further promoting this image, right? So it wasn't completely a donkey. It was kind of strange, but it was considered a donkey. After their expulsion, native Egyptians demonized Set, erasing his name, destroying statues, and emphasizing his role as the murderer of Osiris, aligning him with evil and chaos like the serpent Apophis. This later negative perception was largely a reaction to the Hyksos period, contrasting with Set's earlier positive roles, such as defending the sun god Ra. So, what do you think of that?
Wait, read that last part about the positive role.
Why am I not sharing that? Okay.
Well, I thought I don't think you had it all pulled up. I think there you go.
There we go. Yeah. So this is between 1650 and 1550, and the Hyksos adopted Set as their desert god.
Okay.
And so the Hyksos were then expunged from Egypt, and they went up into Syria, northern Israel region.
Oh my God! And who were these people called? The Hyksos?
Yeah, they used to.
Where did they come from? Were they Egyptian?
Asiatic. They're Asiatic. Yeah. So that would be kind of.
So there's no origin really. They're kind of nomadic.
Well, I mean, let's
how they end up in Egypt.
This is after the Bronze Age collapse. They think that these guys came after the Bronze Age, and then basically set up shop and took over all of Egypt. So they started a sort of foreign force.
Because I know that you said that the Egyptians don't have really any written records of the Jews in Egypt, right?
Right. There's no other, mention of them. But
so
they could take it.
So would this be them?
The Hyksos might have taken their stories with them, because this is what the Bible does a lot. It incorporates a lot of other culture stories and then just sort of relabels everything as their own. So you could look at the Egyptian tales of all of these different, big events that were happening to them and be like, actually, these could be said to be curses of Set. That's what they're doing. They were cursing the Egyptian people with frogs, and they were killing off their firstborn sons and all the rest of this. They were a curse on the land, right? They cursed everybody there. So you could say that they were bringing with them the curse of Set. And, they point to that as not only their strength as they were, quote, slaves in Egypt, which, if you look at the Hyksos, they were the rulers in Egypt. Right. And so they just sort of changed a couple of these variables around with the story to make, the persecution complex and all the rest of that fit. And then they kind of said it the way that they wanted to say it, but there could have been a lot of Hyksos influence, especially given how close it is to the region. Right.
The Hyksos. Okay. I'll have to look into them, dude. Anyway, but that was a cool set tangent.
Absolutely.
You want to get back to Demeter? You want to? So
I don't know. I think we could probably wrap it up. I mean,
if you want to wrap it up, that's cool, man. I just didn't know if there's anything else that you wanted to add, or if you.
I think we come around the horn and back again, but I kind of wanted to show how this cultural diffusion takes place with a lot of these different gods, because a lot of people just really don't know how they migrate from one culture to another. And you can see exactly how that happens when you look at the Hyksos and their relationship to this Set deity. Like, it had to do with their time in Egypt. They took it with them, and Egypt demonized that specific entity. But at the same time, like, he wasn't a very positive character to begin with. I think once you start screwing with the original kind of meaning of the story, it starts to lose all meaning when you're, sort of relabeling things.
Oh yeah, you're changing. It's like the game. It's like the game of telephone, right? Keep rebranding it over and over. Eventually, it becomes it takes on a whole new meaning. Loses anything that it used to mean. So, absolutely. Well, I actually understand. I'm glad that we talked about the Haloa festival.
Do you think this guy knows anything about the esoteric Set influence?
What do you mean?
The Michael Aquino. Do you think he knew anything about that aspect of the Bible? That's the real question.
Yeah.
You think so?
Had to.
That's what I'm hoping I find. I hope there's something about this sort of esoteric Setianism.
Keep me informed, dude.
Yeah. That's going to change a lot of things, because that would mean that this guy, he thinks he's God's chosen people with his Temple of Set.
Yeah, dude. Hey, I mean, he was kind of, I mean, dude, he, that's the crazy thing about Aquino is like, dude didn't have any struggle, bro. Like, they placed him up there. They funded it. I mean, taxpayer dollars funded the Temple of Set. I'm almost positive.
Who knows, dude?
As well as these other cults that were funded by the government.
I think a lot of this was like supercharged from the 1970s and 80s. You know, like they just sort of took all that MK Ultra stuff, found a religious
Laurel Canyon too. You had that going on.
Yeah, found a religious application for it, and then just hit the gas on it. You know.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Yo, yeah, fucking tell me what you find, dude.
Will do.
Whatever, Eros. Anyway, hey, let's tell people where they can find you and what you got coming, dude.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow we've got that big the meeting of the minds going on Friday.
That's tomorrow night?
Yeah, it's tomorrow night. So it's
I'll be there.
We're talking about all of this. Yeah, Eros is going to be there. So we're going to be talking about the CIA documents and the Gateway program. That's going to be an amazing show, guys.
Fuck yeah, let's fucking go, dude. All right. Well, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter. Yeah. If you're watching, you know where to find me.
Headless_giant on Twitter. Man, I don't know what. I don't think you're on Instagram.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, you are.
I must be some shadow man.
Me or you?
No, me.
Both of us.
I gotta post stuff. I'll find you again.
I gotta post more stuff too, dude.
Yeah. Gotta get some clips. I make clippable moments, right?
You see the clip I made of the Peter what's his name? Peter Mark Adams.
I don't know.
You didn't see the clip I made? Is that his name? You know what I'm talking about? You're
Oh, yeah. I reposted it. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. It was all right. I need to get better at the editing of it. And I used to make super cuts for a show that I used to do with Nate from Reality Czars. And I'm pretty good at making stuff like that. But
right. Well, this show is just
the clips for it. You give me the clips for it, I can make it, you know.
Right. This show specifically is just filled with all these phallic images. And nobody's clipping that up and putting it out there. I think that's a travesty.
Hold on. Well, wait. Which show?
This one. The Rustic Gods.
Guys, yeah, you could probably find. I was going to say there's probably over 100 clips of us pulling up these different representations of phalluses and fertility cults and all this fun stuff. It's all good fun, guys. We're having a good time when we do this show. And this is episode 8. We're still early into the show. We have a lot of other Rustic Gods to go. But yeah, guys, dude, if it doesn't even feel like tomorrow's Friday, I work tomorrow and then it's the weekend. Thank God. So yeah, y'all tune in tomorrow night for the Occult Reject show. I think it's 9 Central, maybe. I think Nick did it at that time, so we could all make it. And then Esoteric Book Review Saturday morning. We're finishing up Unseen Forces and Occult Anatomy of Man. I'll be streaming one of the books first hour, or maybe even 30 minutes. I don't know. All publicly, and then we will go straight to the Rumble, the private Rumble link for Patreon. So if you're not a member, you can go over to patreon.com/GrayPillPodcast and sign up. Did a show earlier today. It was like a Happy New Year show. You know, we talked about, we read a lecture. We read a Steiner lecture on the Druids, which was very interesting. And then we kind of had a little recap on this past year. I gave shouts out to you and Nick and everybody who's been a part of the show, and everyone who supported me since day one, all the Patreon people, and got some donations this morning. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Love all of y'all. And yeah, go follow me on Twitter at GrayPillPod, Instagram GrayPill_podcast. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, Apple, Spotify. Leave me good reviews and don't fuck with me on there, please. I already get people enough calling me Jesuit and this and that. So, show me some love. And like I said, Patreon, best way to support the show. If you're a Rumble person, locals, I've got to start posting the links over there. But we do the esoteric book review every Saturday morning. If you subscribe to a $10 tier or up, you'll get a free sticker pack. No more of the $2 and $5 subscribe and get a sticker pack, because we had people too many people joining and then leaving, and it's just not gonna happen. So cut that out. So everyone who subscribed before the new year, you should have gotten an updated sticker pack. And if you are in the inner the round table and on the top tiers, you will get an updated sticker pack. I got a few more. I got a couple Twin Peaks inspired stickers coming in. Gods of the Morningwood sticker, headless. I'll send you a pack, bro. You get exclusive content to Patreon. We're gonna start doing the Elohim etymologies again. We left off with Ninurta. I believe it was Ninurta, which is very, very similar to Archangel Michael.
Ooh, I got some stuff on
Ninurta.
that.
Well, yeah, no. Well, in the Mesopotamian stories, the destruction of the cities of Marduk, it's the Sodom and Gomorrah story, and it's Nergal and Ninurta, and they're laughing and killing, just eviscerating people, and he earns the name Scorcher. Maybe that was Nergal. I don't know, but so I have a PDF on someone, I don't know who wrote it, on Ninurta, describing him as a great dragon and stuff. So maybe we'll do an episode and throw that up there. We can maybe get something off of that. Anyway, but yeah, guys, like I said, esoteric book review Saturday, and then Sunday I got Toad coming on. Our boy Toad from Tower Gang. We love Toad. He's coming on Sunday, and then next week I got Austin Picard coming on, and got a lot of cool stuff planned for the new year. A lot of merch that's coming, so you guys get ready. I hung out with my buddy last night who owns a screen printing shop. I haven't seen him in a year. Saw him last night. Yeah, dude. So, and it's right next to the barber shop that my buddy owns, where my wife works every now and then. So,
fuck yeah.
Yeah, man. A lot of good stuff coming in the future. But anyway, guys, take it easy. Hopefully we'll see y'all tomorrow night. Kissing under the mistletoe. Yes. Just don't throw it at me. You may kill me. Peace.